What's going on, guys? Today we finally got a look at some NHL 24 gameplay as EA released the reveal trailer. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I have a link in the description. But first thing I want to mention is the fact that I actually got the date wrong. They moved it up a week, so rather than coming out on the second Tuesday of October, it's now coming out on the 1st. That is if you have EA access, you'll be getting the game on October 3rd. If not, you can get it on October 6th. So, game's coming out 1 week early, which is pretty cool. Still an October release date, though. And now, next year, guys, let's look at the features. The first one's the all-new exhaust engine. If you guys watched my video looking at the, first screenshot of NHL 24 with Cale Makar, we saw how it said pressure on the boards, and that's to actually do with the sustained pressure system. So, basically, if you're in your opponent's zone and you're just controlling the puck, whether you're cycling, shooting, passing, you're going to kind of build this meter up, and once you get it full, you'll actually trigger the sustained pressure perk, at which point your opponent's team actually loses attributes, and your team, I think, gets like a boost in speed or something, so they'll be moving around their zone quicker, able to, pass the puck, things like that, and obviously they can be playing worse with that lower attribute. I think the way to do this, too, like I mentioned, can be through time in the zone, whether you're just, holding the puck, which hopefully is tuned so you can't just, hide in the corner. But with that, too, the meter fills up from completing passes as well as taking shots, so again, just, having that pressure in your opponent's zone, you're going to get a boost, which I think is pretty cool. I think, it relates to real-life hockey when you can kind of just feel the goals coming and teams, had the puck in their opponent's zone for so long, they're getting all these chances. It's going to happen. Obviously, it's a little arcadey in terms of the implementation, but I do like it. And now the second part of that all-new exhaust engine, guys, is actually the goalie fatigue system. So with this, when you have that sustained pressure in their zone, your opponent's goalies actually become more and more fatigued, so it's just becoming harder and harder for them to make saves. You'll see them making more desperation saves. As their energy drops, they're also just not going to be as good because, they're getting tired out there and they're not as sharp. And basically, over time, you're going to wear down the goalie and, it's going to be basically easier to score the more time you have in your opponent's zone. And it actually says there's 75 new goalie animations to go along with that fatigue system. So, with them being out of position, just throwing an arm out, a leg out, things like that. Again, I think the way it's implemented is definitely a little bit arcadey, but it does relate to real-life hockey. So I'm a big fan of it. I've tried out both of these things, and I thought both were really cool. So, my first hands-on experience, I liked it. Obviously, didn't play it hours on end, but in the couple I did, thumbs up from me. And now the next feature, guys, is them overhauling physics-based contact. It says to be able to deliver realistic body checks like never before. You can ragdoll the opponent with a big hit, which I think we saw in the trailer, creating bigger moments. You can also hit people hard enough that it's actually going to cause a turnover opportunity. If you miss a hit, though, you'll be left out of position. The way they've tuned the speed, try and make it balanced. It says, too, with that, you can actually send your opponent over the bench as well as break the glass. So breaking the glass is returning not only from a hit, but I believe also from a shot. So very cool to see that. Obviously, that's something that also has to be tuned. If it's happening too much, it's going to get a little ridiculous. But, having that as a cool moment that happens once in a while, I think is awesome to have in the games. Same with hitting your opponent over the bench. And like I mentioned too, with this new physics-based contact, it's definitely like a risk-reward scenario where if you go for that big hit and you land it, it takes somebody out of the play. But if you miss the hit, you're not out of position. So you really got to kind of pick your battles when you want to use that. Next year, guys, this is a big one. I think I mentioned this already too in that features preview video that based on the interview EA released on Twitter a few days ago. Full crossplay is coming to NHL 24, something we've been asking for so long. So not only can you play against your friends on the other console, but you can actually play with them now. Now, it does say the only modes this is for are Hockey Ultimate Team and World at Shell, so if you're wondering about another mode, it doesn't say it there. I think, Hut and World of Shell are obviously the two main online modes, though, so definitely the two that needed it first. And I think I mentioned this before, guys, but with the full crossplay, you still have to stay within your generation. So Series X can play with PS5, and Xbox One can play with PS4, but PS5 can't play with PS4, PS5 can't play Xbox One, etc. And the next feature, guys, is Total Control skill moves. They touched on this in the trailer, but basically all your highlight reel skill moves can now just be done by the click of a button. It's like your between the leg pass / shot, I believe, the Forsberg deke, as well as even the Michigan. So literally, you just click one button and the deke is done. Now you still have to, have timing for the Michigan, or I guess all the dekes have to have timing to pull them off. But if you want to, you can just click a button to do that now. But if you prefer the old skill stick method where, there's more buttons involved, if that's what you're used to, that is still an option. As well, too, it says with this new feature, you can actually now fake, pass, and deke out of every single move, which I think is really cool. I feel like this will allow for a lot more creativity within the gameplay and hopefully produce some more highlight reel goals from the community. And the next feature, guys, is the new vision passing system. Honestly, this is probably the one I'm most excited for. Basically, this is just button passing. So rather than, pressing the pass button and having to aim, you'll actually just have buttons hovering above all your players' heads. If you press that button, you'll pass it to that guy. So no longer are you getting rage at EA and say you're aiming at one guy and you pass it to the other. Now, obviously, this feature isn't new to sports games. Man has to have this to know which receiver to go to. NBA has this as well, I believe even MLB, but I really do think it's going to work great for hockey. As sometimes you have guys crossing through the middle, so it's tough for the AI to think who you want to pass it to, even if you're aimed at the right spot. Now with the buttons, you can like just be a lot more creative, as you know your pass is going to go where it's meant to. And let's say, for instance, you don't like this for some reason, you don't have to use it. If you just press like the regular pass button, it'll still work. The way you use it is actually by holding pass and then clicking the button. So it's really cool how it has both options available to you. Like I said, I really enjoyed it though. And with this too, they actually now have one-touch passing. Basically, as a pass is coming to you, you click a pass button aimed at like who you want it to go to next, and your guy will immediately send it off, which obviously allows for a lot faster movement of the puck in the offensive zone. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work in World of Shell too, with like, you know, pro players using that. They're just going to create a bunch of like really nice tic-tac-toe plays. Obviously, we have to wait and see. And one more awesome thing about the vision passing system, guys, because the buttons can be above the player's head, you can't have the X Factor symbol there, so it's actually now between their legs on the ice. And speaking of World of Shell, guys, that's what I'm talking about next, but first I have to touch on one more thing, and that is human goalie controls. They actually added a couple new features for goalies, which is really awesome to see, as I know the goalie community has been asking for, you know, new features for so long. First is a tether control system, where basically you can slide under the crease to make a save, and the game will auto pull you back to the middle, so no longer do you feel like you're kind of stuck out in no man's land, and you gotta try to struggle back to get into the net. The game will auto pull you back, doesn't make you have to, you know, slide back over, which I think should be helpful. I'm not gonna lie, I don't play the most goalie in NHL, so all you goalies, let me know in the comment section, that's something that'll help you out. And now with that too, they actually have the instinct system, which basically allows you to guess where the shot's going, and if you're right, you actually get a bonus in making that save, but if you're wrong, it makes it harder. So if you have a guy coming on you on a breakaway, you think he's going left, and you guess left, you're probably making that save. Now if you think he's going right, you guess left, you're probably not making the save. So you might think, like, how's that different than now? Well, sometimes now you'll guess left, he'll go left, and you still don't make it. So basically, it's going to reward you for actually guessing right now, but I think probably even more so, like, harm you for guessing wrong. And as I mentioned before, guys, next up is World of Shell. EA's finally adding a battle pass to World of Shell. This is something a lot of people thought they would have added years ago. Now, the good thing about this is it has both free and premium levels. I'm not sure what the premium price is going to be, but we did get, like, a tease of some of the items, and I will say that they're pretty cool. So you can still go the free route and get a bunch of stuff that way. It's just, you know, the people that want to spend the money and get a ton of crazy things, which I did see there are, you know, some pretty cool crazy things that's available to them. As well too, guys, there's actually a totally revamped creation zone now. There's like the layout and everything's totally new. And that doesn't just apply to ESHL, it also applies to, like, you know, create team, create player in the offline mode. So once you guys get your hands on that, it should just be a lot easier now when you're going through the menus, picking your logos, your colors, equipment, etc. As well too, guys, I mentioned this is a new ESHL playoff format. Honestly, it looks like it's gonna be tough. It's a 16-game do or die single elimination playoff bracket. Like, that is crazy. You gotta win 16 games in a row to be crowned champion. I feel like anyone who does that is definitely well deserving. And next year, you guys are talking about Hockey Ultimate Team. They're actually bringing back HUT moments. You guys remember that from like NHL 14. You would go and, like, you know, replay through some of hockey's greatest moments. The good thing though is that they've actually added Objectives 2.0. So let's say your moment was to, like, score 4 goals with Austin Matthews in his NHL debut, and you did that in the first period. Before, you would actually have to finish out the entire game. But now with Objectives 2.0, the objectives actually update in-game. So once you score your 4 goals with Matthews, the moment's done. You've completed it. You can exit out. You got it. You don't have to, like, play the rest of the game, just wasting your time. So that is huge that they've added that. And then finally, guys, we have the enhanced presentation. So the first thing is flex moments. Basically now, after you score a goal, you get like this really cool new camera angle where it's up close on your guy, it gets dark. He does a cool new celly. There's, I think, 75 new goal celebrations in total. As I mentioned, new camera angles, lighting effects, which, as the title of this feature states, really makes you feel like you're flexing on your opponent. With that too, they have enriched crowd atmosphere. So in my video, looking at like the first screenshot of NHL 24, a bunch of people are pointing out the crowd looks the exact same, and obviously the crowd does look the same, but they sound different. So now, like, your crowd's a lot more engaged in the game. When you start to do a breakout, the crowd's gonna start to swell up in anticipation of potentially, you know, getting a breakaway, getting a goal, etc. And then finally here, guys, they have a couple new broadcast features. The first is a new color commentator in Cheryl Pounder. She's actually a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, so it'll be pretty cool to see, you know, how she plays off of James Sabelski, as Ray Ferraro is obviously the old color commentator being replaced. And then with that too, they have the dynamic rink boards. I think we touched on this a bit with, like, you know, the pressure being in that screenshot. Well, you know, now this is confirmed. Your dynamic rink boards are going to change while you play, but the good thing about this is when I played, 99% of the time, they were not ads. They were, like, you know, things happening in game, like, you know, saying the pressure thing. It would say, like, you know, Avalanche have 15 shots. It would say Vasilevsky has 10 saves. So-and-so has so many hits. It would show how much time's left on the power play. Like, actually in-game things you want to see, that's what's showing up on the boards in-game. So I definitely understand people's hesitations with these, as in real life, I'm also not a huge fan of the dynamic boards while watching NHL, but in-game, I think it actually helped a little bit, which honestly surprised me. I thought I was going to hate it, but I didn't. I got used to it pretty much immediately. It just seemed like an extra kind of feature for me to look at. It was not distracting at all. Trust me, guys, I think they did a really good job here of making it subtle enough to not get in the way, while still being a helpful feature. As I mentioned, sometimes there's stuff on the board you actually want to see. And real quick, guys, I almost forgot since they're not mentioned in the feature set, but franchise mode and Be a Pro, I don't really know what's going on there. Again, they don't really say anything about them aside from, I guess, like the new and improved creation suite where it's now easier to create your custom team, your custom player, etc. Not really a great sign when they don't get mentioned once, so hopefully just a bunch of minor updates and fixes. I would love a franchise mode, just a bunch of quality of life stuff, smarter, AIGM in terms of trade, signings, things like that. A bunch of the bugs fixed. I would probably be okay with it. Ideally, you're getting some crazy new feature. If it's not in the feature set, it's probably not happening, but we'll have to wait and see. I guess one more thing to announce is the price of this game is, what you'd expect. $69 US for current gen, $59 for last gen. Also, too, no surprise in terms of the consoles it's on. There's no PC, unfortunately. It's just PS5, PS4, Series X, Xbox One. There's also no Nintendo Switch. So, PC guys, you're gonna have to wait at least one more year for NHL to finally make its return to PC, which honestly I really hope it does. I saw a bunch of you guys commenting how you wish you could play the game on PC, so hopefully that's something they'll do in the future. But that's it, guys, for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the NHL 24 feature set. Are you excited? Are you not? Love to hear from you guys.